Give a few people time to come on in here. All right, now here they come. Y'all come on in. Come on in the room.
Look, they like
Come
come.
on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on. Come on in, y'all. Hey, I sure thank y'all for coming in. I ain't gonna wait too long to get started because you can go back and watch it. So we ain't gonna prolong the time. Y'all just come on in. Welcome to the Self Love Journey Conversation with Shei Atkins, where we learn how to have a healthy relationship with ourselves. So I thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share it with somebody. Tonight, I got Mr. Jack Brown talking to us tonight, and I stumbled upon him on YouTube because I'm the type of person I want to know how to do this, how to do that, how to overcome this. What happened when you think this? So I'm just, scrolling YouTube, and I came across one of his interviews where he overcame his drug addiction of PCP. And you know that PCP ain't no joke. No drug ain't no joke, really. But I was so interested in this story because a lot of my family members, was bound to drugs. A lot of them lost their lives because of drug addiction. And just to see somebody out here in the trenches helping others open, I just had to have him on the show. So I reached out to him and he was just kind and he replied back, didn't have to wait a long time. He was down, he was open. And he was open to sharing his story on here. So I just want to thank you for that. And for sharing your story tonight. So we're gonna go on and get into it. Now, uh let's just kind of go back to let's just tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll get into your journey.
Um, hey man, look. First of all, I have to put it out there. I just had hit a milestone. I just turned 50, 50 years of age just a few days ago on the 30th of December, and so I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your show as well.
Yeah.
What do you want to know? Like today, life is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a chemical dependency counselor, intern, a peer support specialist, high school dropout with two college degrees now. I have two associate's degrees. I went from homeless to homeowner.
Come
Um,
on.
been married like 9 years now,
Come on,
on
Lord.
the 17th to be 9 years. So my life
Yeah,
is all, man.
let's get into just that drug addiction, because sometimes you can get desensitized to certain things to even allow yourself to experiment with it. So how do you get to that place to where, let me try this here, let me see what this about?
So, my story isn't different from other people, but I'm probably one of the only few people that actually tell you the truth about it. So, to be honest with you, my drug addiction really was started as a youth, right? And what I mean
Mhm.
by that is, I was raised by an aunt and an uncle. Mother and father were both heroin addicts. They were both in prison. Kids can be mean, and so everybody always pointed out that I didn't live with my mom and my father and things of that nature. And
Mhm.
so those were like early childhood wounds, and so I was able to suppress that for quite some time, right? And,
Mhm.
my mom got out of prison, moved back to Shreveport, Louisiana, and had like five more kids.
Wow.
And she didn't come get me though, right?
Yeah.
She allowed me to stay with my aunt and my uncle, and so I never got over that. And then my dad finally got out of prison, and he got out and created a little family like right across the bridge, maybe 10 minutes from me,
Mhm.
and started raising somebody else's kids, which was my stepsister, right? But
Mhm.
um, I can remember him saying he's coming to get me, and he would never show up, right? I'd be like
Mhm.
a little pound puppy. Um, looking in the window, thinking each car was him. And
Yeah.
so I had to paint that picture because those were early childhood scars, early childhood wounds, right? And
Mhm.
I didn't know that later on, because of those very things, I was gonna venture out and start trying drugs to self medicate those said feelings, if that makes any sense,
Mhm. Yeah, that
right?
makes sense.
So then trying to grow up and fit into various crowds, that's where the marijuana took off. So it was easy.
Mm. Okay. Marijuana.
Marijuana, oh man. So marijuana was never really my thing, but it got me in the in crowd, right? You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I was really an athlete. I really love like sports, any sport. It just, being raised as a single kid, I like being outside amongst kids. And so I would always try to do whatever it took to be a part of the crowd. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Like my first joint came out my aunt's stash. I actually stole it, you know,
Uh-oh.
just to take it to school and be like, hey, look, this is what I got. You know what I mean? And so like, oh yeah. And so, I was Mr. Popular for a day or two, right? And
Mhm.
I started stealing liquor from my mom's bar and taking it
Wow.
to school. And so, but those things, they never really satisfy me, if that makes
Mm.
any sense. Sports was like my outlet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So my drug addiction really didn't start until I was like 22. That's when like my aunt passed away when I was 18.
Mhm.
Um, and that tore me up. And then my uncle that raised me passed away when I was 22. And
Mm.
so I like to tell people that at 22, I came up with a suicide plan, and it
Mm-mm.
wasn't it wasn't like most people would think, like I was gonna sit down and pop a whole bunch of pills. But what I
Yeah.
decided I was gonna do is I was gonna be a gangbanger and a thug, right?
Mm. At 22.
At 22.
Mm.
And I decided that I was going to be a gangbanger and a thug, and I was going to be a drug dealer, and I was going to hurt a lot of people because I was
Wow.
in pain, and that eventually somebody would hurt me and put me out my misery.
Wow. And that's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted, because I was
Wow.
too cowardly to take my own life. You know what I mean?
Mm.
In the hood, that's not what brothers do, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had determined that it was going to be bullets and gun smoke, and um, I have the bullet holes to prove it.
Oh Lord. So you have got shot.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. On two different incidents. The last one was life threatening. In fact, I actually died on the operating table, and I was woke up in ICU, stayed in the hospital like a week on the respirator and things of that nature. But my addiction was full blown by then.
Wow.
I was doing PCP every day because PCP was the only thing that would numb those feelings, would numb those emotions, and numb those thoughts. Like um, on the streets, I always crave family, and so the gang gave me a family. Right,
Mm.
I have a lot of play uncles, a lot of play cousins, and
Yeah.
all that. So I thought I had found a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging, but what I found out later as I began to mature is that people didn't respect me, people feared me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Thank you so much. you know, and so from there, I don't know, things just spiraled out of control. Is what
So you
I'll
were
say.
trying to numb the pain from your aunt and your uncle passing away?
That too. So I mean, and that's what I mean. Most people don't understand that um, an addict has problems before they ever take the first drug. And what I mean by that is the emotional scarring that I endured led
Oh,
up
from
to
childhood too.
my
Yeah.
drug addiction. And so when you can no longer stuff the pain, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You it spews up outwardly is what I mean, right? I'll show you what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Most normal people will go to work, come home, and have a nightcap. They can drink a glass of wine and
Yeah.
relax and take that edge off. Well, if
Yeah.
we really be honest about it, that is really just a form of self-medicating to, like, okay, I had a hard day. Let
Yeah.
me let me unwind.
Uh,
Well, for me, I take that an extra mile. I
mm,
take that several extra miles, right?
wow.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so a lot of people that are addicts, that's pretty much what happens. Eventually, like, how do I say it? So the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit, they are like a bottle. And if we take a bottle or a cup, let's say a cup, and we take a cup and we start pouring emotions and trauma and scars and incidents over the course of life into that cup, eventually what happens is that cup overflows.
Mm-hmm.
That's addiction. You take all the abandonment issues, and you take all the sense of the self-loathing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, the undeserving, all of that, and you keep pouring it in a cup, and eventually it's gonna flow over. And so to in my mind, it was okay to go ahead and get high to try to put those things back in the box.
Yeah. And you say the marijuana wasn't really cutting it, like, that wasn't enough. It's time to take it to another level because I'm still feeling this pain.
Right. I'm still feeling the marijuana was just for popularity, for socialism, right? Just to be able to
Mm-hmm.
socialize with folks. But yeah, I still felt the pain. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Hmm. So,
It's
but that
hard.
PCP, when you first did that, what was that experience like? That first time?
Oh man, my very first time on PCP, one, I never knew PCP was a hallucinogen, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I had just heard about people going on bad trips. But I mean, to be honest with you, my first experience with PCP was like almost like an out of body experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could see people clearer, and I could think a lot clearer, and I understood what plot people were making against me, if that makes any sense. Because I'm in the game, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm surrounded by evil 24 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, I'm already thinking people are out to get me, and so the PCP intensified that or enhanced that times three, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
under the influence, I thought I could just see through everybody's plan, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
But it didn't make you, act a certain way. It was just kind of like you, you got the game now. Yeah, I'm on to you, even though you might not be expressing it verbally.
Each experience was different, is what I'll say. Each use is what
Mm.
you know what I mean. That's why people like it. It's like um, wow. Can't believe I'm telling this story, but I remember
Oh,
one time
yeah.
riding around with my homeboy, and we were getting loaded, and I had did some unsavory things to some folks, and word on the street is that they were looking for me, and so
Yeah.
we put up on the light at the red light, and I thought I seen them, and I
Yeah.
jumped out the car and ran down the street
Yeah.
and hid in the alley. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? That's that paranoid feeling. And
Yeah.
then there was other times where I felt like I was 8 feet tall and bulletproof. Like, um, let me back up. So this is gonna sound horrible for this show, but I have to tell you this. PCP
Okay.
saved my life. And what I mean by that is when I got shot, um, I didn't go in the shop. I was calm when I made it to the emergency room. And I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to the physicians, and they couldn't understand how I was so calm because my gunshot wound is like in my chest on the left hand
Wow.
side, maybe a half a centimeter to your right, and I probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so the doctors, they couldn't understand why I was still like calm, cool, and collected. And they were like, "What is he on?" And I'm so
Yeah.
low. I'm like, I'm on water. What you think I'm
Wow.
on?
Wow. So you say, each experience is different. Nah. And you said that, is it ecstasy every time?
What do you mean?
Like, is it taking you to that place that numbing place every time, even with the paranoia?
PCP takes you to where you want to go, right? So, and what I mean by that is like people don't understand how influential music is. You know,
Hmm.
if I'm listening to gangster rap and I think I got to go do something to somebody, I just go get some PCP and it numbs my feelings, my conscience rather, not even my feelings,
Mm.
it numbs my conscience to the point where I can do what I need to do against
Wow.
anybody at that said time and not have a second thought about it, right?
Mm.
So I guess what I mean by that is basically it allows you to morph into that personality, whatever personality is needed at that time.
Mm. But what about the uncontrollable fears?
That's just so most people call that a whack attack or a bad trip, right? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that's just really that's really just all those demons that you didn't put in the cage coming back
Yeah,
to haunt. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I done numb myself so many times to go do these bad things to people, right?
yeah.
And and now, I'm on a different trip where I have a conscience.
Uh-oh.
And now my conscience is fearful that people is gonna come do something to me. And so there go the paranoia.
Wow.
If that makes any sense.
There's something there. So, what is the journey like of coming to that place of saying, you know what, I'm tired of this? Because, like for me, when, I was an alcoholic and my flask was my best friend. And if you try to tell me to get rid of that flask, you getting cussed out. What? No, I ain't letting nothing go. But then I realized that this flask is turning on me. These blackouts, these hangovers. It ain't working for me no more like it used to. And now it's hurting me more than it was. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
how do you come to that place where you say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of what I'm experiencing from, you know, doing this.
So what I'll say is this, God did his thing. He took his time with me. And what I mean by that is like, so my story, it involves not only drug addiction, but it involves incarceration. You know,
Hmm.
and so the dude that shot me, this was my first visual of what God was preparing me to do. So on the streets, if somebody shoots you, you supposed to shoot them back. You supposed
Hmm.
to shoot them.
Mm.
And I didn't. God told me let him make it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was like the first time that was the first time like I wasn't worried about the blowback from my reputation on the streets or anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Uh-huh.
Because I knew eventually that wasn't who I was. I was a nerd in school, man. I
Yeah.
just learned how to play thug.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I like reading. I like going to school. I like learning, but I just adapted to my environment very well. And so, you know, and then I started thinking like, boy, you're gonna end up locked up forever behind these streets. But
Yeah.
I still kept going. But I started scaling back, for lack of a better word, I started scaling back my level of crime or my level of gang activity is what I'll say.
Hmm.
Right. And a few more incarcerations. I just like, you know what? I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got that.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I remember sitting on the block and I'm looking to the left and I'm looking to the right and everybody's still doing the same thing. And I'm like, okay, God, I know it's got to be something out here better than just hanging out in a 4 block radius. My life was condensed to 4 blocks, north, south, east, and west. Anything outside of that, it was unmentionable. Like I'm not coming downtown. I'm not going out to eat. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not right there, Henderson's Chicken, McDonald's or something,
Yeah.
Williams Chicken, then I'm not going. You know,
Yeah.
and so I just I just got tired of being incarcerated. I got tired of being violent. I just got tired of like getting like beat up all the time
Yeah.
or running from the cops. So I'm an Army veteran, and so that was the second time I had a glimpse of God, because I never once used my VA benefits um, to, like, while I was in active addiction. And so once I
Yeah.
tapped to the VA and asked for some help, I knew I was ready.
Yeah, you knew you was ready. So,
Mhm.
for those, what she say, amen, God had something. That's right. All right. Yeah, for those, wondering what that process looked like, of getting clean and making up your mind, because that's a whole nother journey. What does that look like?
Um, First, like that old cliche, it's true. It's a true cliche, and I don't care what nobody say. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, right?
Yeah.
And in order for me to heal, and I'll put it on me. I like keeping stuff on me. In order for me to heal, I had to be able to be willing to take a look at me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I had to be willing to look at, like, that inner child in me as a youth that felt those abandonment issues, those low self-esteem, those self-loathing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like, I was gonna have to take a look at that. I was gonna have to deal with that. You know what I mean? I could no longer hide behind the drugs and self-medicate and deal with those issues. It wasn't working anymore.
And before you go to the next thing, does it mean if you deny that you have a problem, does that mean that you're not ready? Or does that mean that you just don't have the awareness that you are actually an addict?
I mean, to be honest with you, in my professional opinion, it just means you're not ready,
Mm. My,
right?
my, my.
That, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Because mama can't get me clean, daddy can't get me clean, sister and them can't get me clean, nobody can get me clean and keep me clean. I have to do all of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to become the most important person in the room. I couldn't do it for my kids. I couldn't do it
Yeah.
for the girlfriend. I couldn't do it for none of those individuals. I had to do it for Jack, right? So you have to become willing, and when you become willing, you have to start having an open mind. And once you grasp an open mind, you're open to new ideas and new concepts, like self-love. I'm like, self-love, what
Yeah.
does that look like? My life is filled with pain. How am I love me?
Yeah. But have you ever had a closed mind to where people or family might have been like, "Hey, man, it's time to," and you was just wasn't trying to hear what they was talking about?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody in my family knew I was an addict, but me.
Mm.
I still thought I was portraying that illusion that I was this hardcore, up and coming drug dealer on the street that was gonna be a kingpin one day, right? And
Wow.
everybody had, the streets be talking, and
Yeah.
everybody already knew. You know what I mean? So I just continued to lie to myself so I could continue to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Do what you wanted to do. So you really wasn't lying to them. You really lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that's the thing about lying. If I can tell me a lie and believe it, I know I got you.
No, well, that's what you think.
That's what I think. That's what my
Yeah.
brain tell me.
Your brain. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what my
Yeah.
brain. Well, I think I like that lie, right?
Yeah.
And so I just had to get real with myself that I was an
Mm-hmm.
addict. See, you got to understand. So PCP was one of my drugs of choice, and we kind of talked the other day. I've done cocaine, I've done heroin, I've done ecstasy, I've done ice, but wasn't none any of those like PCP, that they didn't numb those feelings like that,
Mm.
right? And so they were all just a part of me trying to stuff what I was going through, if that makes any sense. Like, by then, guilt and shame kept me on the streets. Like, man, I've become homeless, and my hygiene's poor, and I'm a prideful man. I come from a nice family, right? We dress
Yeah.
and keep yourself up and things of that nature. And so once those things start disappearing and I was unable to keep those things up, I
Yeah.
felt even worse about myself than I did from the early childhood trauma.
Mm. Wow.
So,
Just something else. So you went to the VA and you say, "Hey, I'm ready."
well, I had to do some more road testing. I told them I was ready, and they said, "Well, we're going to send you to Bonham, Texas." And so one of my many trips on vacation, courtesy of the state, was to Bonham, Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, nah, man, I'm not going up there. You know what I mean? And so they said, well, why don't you try outpatient? And so every day I would go up to the VA and I would program for about 6 hours at the VA. We do all kinds of
Mm.
drug and alcohol classes, codependency classes, co-occurring classes. I mean, you name it, it was a class, right? It was a group.
Yeah.
And, I could always retain the information and anything. But that's the thing about recovery. A lot of people don't understand. You're always going to be provided with, I don't know, this much information. The information does me no good until I start applying what I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I
Yeah.
can read a book from cover to cover, but until I start applying what I read in that book,
Yeah.
it does me no good. It's like
Yeah.
buying a brand new hammer and just putting it in the closet. It's just
Yeah.
a pretty hammer. It does
Yeah.
me no good. My house falling apart.
Yeah.
Use that hammer.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I think I see a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Why does the addict get mad when people don't believe the things that they say?
Um, because they feel like you're judging them. Okay, so let me try it like this. I forget that my family are the ones that see me at my worst, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
when I went and got clean, I thought that my family was supposed to just like, okay, yay, brother, we're happy for you, and this, that, and the other. And so when I called my sister, my stepsister, when I called my sister, and I told her I was in treatment, I was trying to get life together and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Um, she didn't believe any of that.
Mm.
And she didn't talk to me for like 9 months after that, right?
Mm.
And I had to earn her trust. I had to
Mm-hmm.
earn her respect. The thing about it is, I'd rather for you to believe what I'm saying than you look at me where I need to put my actions where my talk is. I gotta walk the walk instead of just talk the talk, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people get mad when you don't believe, because I forgot I stole the TV on Thanksgiving 10
Yeah.
years ago, but the family didn't,
Yeah.
right? And so,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah. It's just it don't feel good to not be trusted, even though uh you can't be trusted at the time.
When I first got clean and I went to a 12-step meeting and I picked up a key tag and I didn't have keys to put them on. I didn't have no keys to put on my key ring, right?
Mm.
And today I have keys to people's houses and I have keys to people's buildings and things of that nature. But it wasn't because of anything that I said, it's because of the way I walk my life today, the way I interact with people and I do things for people. It's the way I carry myself. So I'm trustworthy again, right?
Come on now.
It's not like they forgot, but
Yeah.
you gotta trust me. Just all the good that I do, I still got a group of haters over here.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know he used to do this and he used to do that? Like
Yeah.
like my wife one day was at work and don't do drugs, y'all, I promise you. So being under the influence all the time, I come across people today that I don't remember because I was always
Wow.
loaded. And so
Wow.
my biggest fear is, did we get into it or do we get along?
Yeah.
Right. And so one year we had a party for my wife's birthday and one of her coworkers came and she brought her husband. I don't even know this dude. I don't even remember this dude, but this dude know me.
Mm.
And he told his wife my street name and all kinds of crap,
Wow.
right? And so next thing you know, my wife is walking in the hallway and she see her friend. She be like, girl, I know your husband was so-and-so, such and such, saying my street name. And my wife like, hey, we don't use that name.
Yeah.
His name is Jack. We don't use that name in this.
Yeah. 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 That's right.
So you always got, regardless of what I do positive, I still got people that
Yeah.
like I still got family members taking numbers, taking bets, like he's gonna break and get hot any moment now.
Wow. Wow. And before we get into that, I want to finish this getting clean story because you say you got the outpatient thing and you went was in the class for 6 hours, but you was going home getting high. Well, now, was it because you wasn't ready, or it was just so hard to not do it?
So I mean, it's a number of things. For one, I was living with people that wasn't family. That was a drug house, so it was accessible.
Yeah.
Um, and two, um, how do I say this? Two, I was ready, but I wasn't ready. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was ready mentally, somewhat, but I didn't want to do the work. See, recovery
Yeah.
take work, right?
Yeah.
So being in the environment, all day, every day, I only got a brief moment of clarity when I went to the VA, right? But I still
Yeah.
had to get on that train and come back to South Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
And so once I got back into South Dallas, I was easy to get back into that role, right?
Yeah.
And so playing the role, I had to get high because
Mm.
it was becoming harder and harder to mask my ideas or wants and needs to be a better me and still be a part of the streets, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
holding on to that legend, I had to stay high,
Yeah.
right? Because it wasn't like I was relevant anymore. You know what I'm saying? I was an afterthought. I was just a legend. I was one of those street legends
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that people remember back in the day. He was
Yeah. Yeah.
head. You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me, that was all I had was my legend. And so there was always conflict in
Yeah.
my mind about you know, who would I be if I let this person go? Who am I going
Yeah.
to become?
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
after getting the brakes tore off my butt several times,
Mm.
getting high like that, I just went back to the VA and told them, hey man, look, I'll go to Bonn. I'm ready.
Yeah. 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 Okay. You needed to get your butt kicked a little few more times.
A few more times. They say you gotta get that just right butt kicking to want recovery. And so
Yeah.
I got it. And what I remember happening was I caught myself playing the game, right? And so utilizing my VA benefits, they have
Yeah.
a housing program for veterans that would have got me a Section 8 voucher. Well, I had to go down to a homeless center and do an assessment, about an hour and a half, 2 hour long assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't eaten in like 2, 3 days. I was starving, right?
Mm.
And they were serving food. They were serving chicken and rice. I'll never forget it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my pride said, don't go get in that soup line,
Yeah.
right? I'm not none of them. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm hungry. But my stomach said, boy, you better go get in that line.
Yeah.
And so I swallowed my pride and I went and got in that line. And that was like I'm still looking for the recipe. That was the best chicken and rice I ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So that dose of humility made it easier for me to go ahead and get help and be like fully open, because being a man of color, I have a false sense of pride that I got to be independent. I don't have to ask anybody for anything, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not what men do. But being a child of God, I learned that God places people in your life today that's there to help you to the next point of your
Yeah.
journey.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So you went to what is called Bonner?
Bonham, Texas. I went to the VA Medical Center in Bonham, Texas. This is actually about an hour and a half away from Dallas, 30 minutes outside of Sherman, right? Sherman
Mm-hmm.
is north of here.
Yeah.
Um, I got down there and I got in that country atmosphere and I could breathe,
Mm.
right? Because I no longer had to pretend.
Yeah.
So whoever I was going to become, I was okay with that because I didn't have to pretend to be something I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, allegedly everyone in treatment is supposed to be seeking the same thing. You
Mhm.
know, and so after plant portraying the role for several years of being something I wasn't, by the time I got to Bonham, I was ready to be whoever Jack was gonna be.
Wow.
Right. And so
Yeah.
I put the pen to use. I started praying every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had bikes for us to rent. So I started riding bikes and everything I forgot I like to do or stopped doing
Wow.
because I was living on the streets or I had become a part of the streets. I was able to like start doing again, right? I learned how
Mhm.
to fish. I actually like fishing,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah.
I learned how to ride a horse. I've been riding horses now for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I belong to a equine therapy disabled veteran riding program called the Broken Wheel Ranch. And I still take people up and introduce them to something different. And people, something we're not exposed to in the hood, or something that's not socially accepted in the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I make it my business to, like, if nothing else, I'm gonna get you on the horse one time. You like it, cool. You don't like it,
Wow.
cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before the show, we were talking about mentoring youth. And so I've
Yeah.
had trouble youth come up to the ranch. And after one trail ride, they like one little
Wow.
dude went home and said, Dad, I know what I want for Christmas. And his dad said, what? And he said, I want a horse.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Bonham, that slower pace in Bonham,
The dog was trying to get in there.
right? I'm sorry.
That's
Um,
all right. I understand.
so that slower pace in Bonham allowed me to clear my head, ask the hard questions like, who am I?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once I said I don't know, it was back to the basics for me. Like, what foods do I like? What's my favorite color? Because for years I had been programmed to think a certain way. And so
Mhm.
I had to unlearn everything that I had been programmed or learned over a period of time, if that makes any sense, to get
Yeah.
to who Jack is. So Jack likes poetry. Jack's like outdoor activities.
Yeah.
Um, Jack's like traveling.
Come
Uh,
on now.
I like camping. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Just simple things. I get to know what I like, and then the good part about it is I don't care if you like it or not.
Come on now.
I'm okay with Jack. If
Come
that's,
on.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the recovery journey. Recovery is about learning to be okay in your own skin.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to come. Bonham introduced me to my mental health diagnosis. So I have anxiety and depression.
Mm.
So me being the nerd and the bookworm that I am, I started learning more about anxiety and depression and how it affects the body physically, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we always hear, when we hear mental health, we think schizophrenia and bipolar and major depressive disorder, all the major things, right? But
Mhm.
anxiety causes elevated heart rates, elevated blood pressures, things that
Yeah.
make all those things that could possibly cause a stroke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't have anxiety can, like, be so fearful it'll paralyze you from doing anything, from like moving forward. Like when I first moved back from Bonham to Dallas, I couldn't do big crowds. I like Walmart. Oh man, it was like an act of God to go into Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, because it was Bonham was like witness protection, right? It was so nice and
Mhm.
slow, and then I get back here, and everybody, they rocking afros and big tattoos and cussing folks out. And I'm not like, oh, I ain't seen this in a minute, right?
Yeah.
And so the fear was more or less like, how was I going to react to that? Was I going to continue to be this new and improved Jack, or was I going
Yeah.
to fall back into old ways?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hmm. I see a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Is it necessary for someone to move away from the same environment to be successful?
My experience says yes. Someone else may disagree, right?
Mm,
But that slower paced environment made it possible for me to think, right? I'll
mm-hmm,
give you an example what I mean. So going back to the housing voucher, right? Um, the VA also has a compensated work therapy program where you can actually get a little part-time job at the VA. And so when I originally went in treatment, my goal was to get clean enough and for long enough for me to get my voucher and get me a job at the VA. And then about 9 months into treatment, it hit me like, Jack, if you go out of these walls and you get high, you're going to lose your voucher and that job. You're not going
mm.
to be able to keep them because addiction doesn't allow you to keep those said things.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So getting like when I got my voucher and I was gonna move back home, being a convicted felon, it was hard finding decent housing. But I already knew I couldn't live in the hood.
Yeah. You
I
know you.
I know me.
Yeah, self-awareness.
No, North Dallas, South Dallas, East Dallas. If they got a ghetto in Plano, I'm at it. You hear me? I'm gonna find it, right?
Yeah, wow.
And so, even when me and my wife first started dating, and she says it all the time. When we first started dating, she lived out in Duncanville, and it was quiet and big backyard, privacy fence. And I
Mm-hmm.
sit back in the backyard for hours, and she was looking at me like, "This is it." And I'm like, "Boy, you don't know about this piece right here. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
This whole rat race going on right on the other side of this fence around us, right? And you get an opportunity to come home and be at peace. And so now we fight for the church in the backyard at home
Yeah, yeah. I
after
know.
work.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes, removal from that said environment, I think, is a key component to anybody's recovery. It takes a very, very, I'm not him. It takes a
Yeah,
very, very strong individual. I'm not him.
yeah,
to be
yeah,
able to get clean in the belly of the beast and maintain
yeah.
the recovery. I'm not him. I had to go to the country.
Wow. Even with the everything you learned there, it still will be fooling yourself going back.
Oh yeah, I still go to the country just to remind myself where it all started. I don't
Yeah,
I don't have to go to the hood to go see what they're doing because I know what they're doing because I did
yeah,
it for 20 plus years every day.
yeah, yeah,
They still doing the same thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You're right.
So I go where my gratitude is. I go where it all where the memories are pleasant for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you know, I went horseback riding a couple of weeks ago and it just was amazing. It was a pretty day, you know what I'm saying? And I got to
Yeah.
hang out with my fellow veteran buddies
Mm-hmm.
and when we get together, it's always a good time.
So
we
is it that the hardest part is getting there?
What do you mean?
Making up in your mind to go. Is that the hardest part? Or
Yeah.
you in for a ride even after you leave?
Um, I mean, so the best way I can explain it is you're gonna have moments. Like that first moment of going, that's hard. But once you make up your mind and go, you're good. And then that next moment is staying.
Yeah, staying. Yeah.
It's staying
Wow. Some people leave. They leave.
within hours.
Wow.
You know what
Did
I'm
you
saying?
have a temptation to leave?
No, I didn't have nowhere else to go. I was homeless.
Yeah. Okay.
I was homeless. And it
Yeah.
wasn't a jail cell. So I ain't had
Yeah.
nowhere else to go. So I was cool.
Yeah, I know
You
that's
know what
right.
I'm saying? And then my next moment was, do I really want to work on me? Or am I just
Mm.
gonna fake and shake and sit here?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
each part of your journey is going to be a different moment. And,
Mhm.
it depends on what demon or what angel wins that day.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be lying to you if I told you I woke up some days and didn't want to be there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then reality kicked in, like, where you gonna go?
Yeah. I know, as I started healing, because when I started drinking, I was just trying to numb pain. As I started healing, the desire to do that kind of went away naturally on his own. Is it like that with as
Yeah,
you start healing, that temptation for it kind of weakens a little bit?
yeah. Because um there's peace in the healing process. It's a
Yeah.
calming of the spirit.
Yeah.
And so once the spirit starts to calm, the desires to self-medicate goes away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I started taking those hard looks at myself and saying, okay, Jake, you suffer from abandonment issues, right?
Mhm.
And every time you look up, you scared somebody finna leave you. And so,
Yeah.
instead of I'll self-sabotage a relationship just
Yeah.
to keep,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
you first.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
And so once I started learning things about that inner child, that young boy that just was never celebrated or paid attention to, once I started doing the work, the
Yeah.
desire to get high or numb those feelings, they go away. Like, man, I'm a big old softy these days. If I watch a movie, if the sad part of the movie come on, I'm crying
Yeah.
with the movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, that director did his job. I'm over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. That's
So
all right. So, after you got clean and everything, then what happened?
well, so relapse is a part of my story. I got clean, but I didn't stay clean.
Oh, wow.
But my desire to want to be clean was stronger than me wanting to use.
Come on now.
You see what I'm saying?
Powerful.
So, God gave me a sneak peek. He gave me a preview of how great my life could be
Yeah.
if I stayed clean.
Yeah.
And then he gave me another preview of what my life was going to be back like if I continue to use.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what
Yeah.
I mean by that is I'm sitting in one of these no-tell motels and I'm getting loaded. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm sitting around and I'm looking at these people and I hadn't been engaged in conversation like this in a couple of years, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even like these people. Jack,
Yeah.
why are you even talking to these people? Like, y'all conversation don't even match anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, about 4 o'clock in the morning, they decided to put me out the little hotel, they little hotel room.
Yeah.
So I knew what was next. I said, well, you broke and you jonesing for some more dope. And
Wow.
the only way you're going to get some more dope is if you go commit a crime to get some money. And if you commit a crime, you're probably going to go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually had that conversation with myself, right? And
Yeah.
so having that conversation with myself, I was able to make a decision to go home. And
Okay.
I've been clean ever since.
Wow. That's powerful there. Wow. So how did you get into saying, you know what, I want to go in these trenches and get my people, and help people who where I was.
Well, I started working at a treatment facility, and one of my coworkers, he seen how I interact with the clients, and he was like, "Jack, you'd be awesome as a prison report." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"I see the passion." I was like, "Yeah, man." My mentor from the VA. Let me back up. I'm sorry. My mentor from the VA, Miss Jackson. I showed
Mm-hmm.
up on her doorstep, borderline hypothermia. Told her I was sleeping in a car. She got up from the desk, told me to stay. Went to the ATM, came back and gave me $60 of her own money and told me
Mm-hmm.
to go get out the cold. And then she turned around and she gave me a stack of DART bus passes and told me to come up to the VA every day. And she got me, right, until I got to Bonham. And so I did that. And she provided me with books and model cars and just all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She invested in me. She breathed life back into me.
Wow.
Right. And so after I, got the treatment, I started getting things together. I was like, Miss Jackson, I don't know how I'm gonna ever pay you. And she was like, all you gotta do is pay it forward.
Come on now.
She said, help somebody else.
Come on.
That resonated in my spirit. I
Come
mean,
on now.
to where it was so deep in my spirit to where
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to do, because I felt like I have to do this to repay this woman for all this unconditional love she showed to a perfect stranger.
Wow.
You know what I
That's
mean?
powerful.
She
Uh,
actually texted me the other day and told me that she was very proud of me.
how that made you feel?
It makes me feel good.
That's all right. Come on, Lord. I see another question for you.
Uh-oh.
Is everyone numb in pain with their vice? I'm not judging. This is personal. I'm trying to understand. All right. Trying to feel you on that. That's what he here
uh,
for.
I mean, in my personal opinion, is what I'll say. Let me lead with that. I would say yes, right? Because um, I don't know what you've been through. You don't know what I've been through. We don't know what each person is enduring in everyday life. You know what I'm saying? If you don't think some numbing of the pain is going on from 2020,
Yeah.
you crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
2022, everybody for a loop, and it's still going.
Yeah.
You
Just the
know what I mean?
stress alone. Yeah.
They made liquor stores essential.
Yeah.
What does that
Wow.
tell you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you sometimes everybody has different coping mechanisms.
Hmm.
For a lot of us, like some people are overeaters.
Yeah.
That's a vice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Some people are cutters, where they just actually cut themselves,
Hmm.
right? And they feel like when they cut themselves, they're releasing their pain.
Mm.
You got undereaters. You know what I'm saying? Some people are workaholics. They just work, 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 work. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So vice isn't always drugs and alcohol. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It could be shopping.
Yeah.
When I first got clean, I went and got a whole bunch of tattoos.
Mm.
I lied. And then I ran out of room for tattoos and I started getting piercings.
Wow.
That
Was it a part of it?
was a part of that was my new vice.
Yeah. Yeah. Your new vice. Yeah.
That was my new vice. Like,
Yeah.
I could get some tattoos and still portray that image. I don't have to be that image, but I can
Hmm.
still portray that image, right?
Hmm.
And so my roommate was a tattoo artist, and so we went half on a gun and a tattoo gun. Let me say
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't want nobody saying we bought a gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
We bought a tattoo gun, and
Yeah.
um and we just, and we just started like I started like finding patterns, and we started putting tattoos together. And people were like, "Hey, Jack, why are you so interested in tattoos?" And I was like, "My tattoos tell my story.
Mm.
They tell you where I've been. They tell you where I've come from, right?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And now my tattoos tell you where I'm going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was a newfound way of self-expressing
Mm.
myself without having to go out on the streets, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
So
I
we
hope I
out.
go
Yeah.
ahead. I hope
We
I
all
answered
have
the
different
question.
vices. We just numbing in different ways, but in your opinion, yeah, they numbing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like one day I'm gonna be that old guy that's riding around in the old clean car, and all I do is wipe on it all day in the driveway. I barely even drive it. That's a
Mm.
vice.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
when he's looking at that car, when he's wiping on that car, he's numbing whatever he's thinking. He's not even thinking about whatever he was feeling because
Mm-hmm.
he's distracted by that car, if that makes sense.
Mm. I hear you. So, for the ones watching,
Uh-oh.
that what would you tell them? They say, I'm struggling. I can't shake this thing. I tried, but it's now starting to come between, my relationships. It's starting to show up on the job now. Like, what would you tell them to just go on, shake it, be able to shake it?
First thing I would say, if I can do it, you can do it. Right?
Mhm.
That's the hit.
Yeah.
5 felony convictions, 88 arrests. Right?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Multiple
Wow.
drugs up under my belt. So if I can, homelessness. So if I can do it, you can do it. That's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is apply 5% of the energy that you use to go get the drugs to your recovery. And what I mean by that is there was times where I didn't have no money and no dope, but I made a way. You know what I'm
Made
saying?
it right. Yeah.
I made a way. I made it happen. But
Yeah.
I have to take that same laser like focus and use it in my recovery. Like flip the coin. My mama passed away about 3 years ago.
Hmm.
That was my ace.
Yeah.
I was hurt. But what I
Yeah.
told myself was, I'm not gonna get high behind it.
Wow.
I'm just
That's
gonna
powerful.
I'm gonna allow myself to feel those feelings.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Feelings
Yeah.
are just that. They are feelings. They will pass. They uncomfortable. Now I ain't say they were all pleasant. They were
Yeah.
uncomfortable. They will take you to some places where you be bent over holding your stomach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The fetal
Hmm.
position is what it's often called, right?
Yeah.
But it'll surpass if you let it. But the first time I put some dope on it, I didn't start the whole cycle over again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get clean and don't stay clean and they relapse and guilt and shame keeps them out on the street.
Uh-oh. Here we
Saying,
go.
uh-oh.
What about the enablers? Tough love. Are you asking, oh, what should the enablers do, or how should they handle if it's their child or they sibling or they, you know?
Enablers and tough love is hard for a mother because that's their baby.
Mm-hmm.
Us daddies, we can get away with it. We cut y'all quick. We
Yeah.
we can compartmentalize right quick. Like, okay, look, dude, you can't come
Yeah.
here. But mom walked around with that dude or that lady 9 months in her stomach, and so they have a strong bond. They have a strong connection. And for someone in a professional setting, say, hey, you need to cut ties to your kid, even if it means for them to live on the streets. That's like hard for people to see, man.
Yeah.
And so what I often tell people, enabler or not, is always educate yourself to whatever's going on with your loved one. If they're doing PCP, learn about what PCP does. Learn about the effects, the withdrawals, the jonesing or cravings. You know what I'm saying? What does that look like? You know what I mean? And then also, as an enabler, they need to learn about. They need to be educated to the fact of what an enabler looks like. Right? They have
Mm-hmm.
support groups for people that are enablers, right? You
Mm.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Nobody, especially us in the African American community, we don't believe in therapy and group sessions and things of that nature. But when I wanted to learn how to be a thug, I went and hung out with the thugs. When I wanted to learn how to be a drug addict, I hung out with the drug addicts. When I wanted to learn how to stay clean, I had to start hanging out with people that were clean.
Come on now.
Right? So
Yeah.
if I want to learn how to not enable my child, I need to go to someone that has been through what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I can't go get marital advice from a single man. he don't
Yeah.
have, he don't have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So go educate yourself. Go, just find one person and just give them a chance. Like, parents or family members or loved ones have to be open-minded to the recovery process as well, because you're affected by the individual's addiction,
That's
right?
right.
You're
Mm-hmm.
affected as well. You need some help too. You need some recovery. It ain't
Yeah.
all. See, it's easy for me to say I need him to go get clean and stay clean, but I gotta remember when they stole the money out of my purse. I gotta remember when they stole the car. I gotta remember when they lied to me and had me come pick them up and pay the dope man. I mean, I had to
Yeah.
remember all of those things. Well, where have I taken the time to heal from those things?
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I have to learn like my loved one is learning. I got to learn how to recover. Recovery is a beautiful thing, but recovery is all inclusive. Everybody got to recover. Mama, sister, cousin, everybody.
You telling the truth right there. But why is it so important to learn about, what they taking and um, the withdrawals, whatever, if you're gonna give them tough love anyway.
Well, I mean, one, you need to be educated because I'll put it on me. When I was at the point where I was jonesing and I wanted to get high and I ain't had no money, and then the people that I thought that loved me wouldn't give me any money because they didn't want to see me continue to hurt myself, I talked really, really bad to them.
Mm.
I called them everything except a child of God.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I need my family member to know that that wasn't me talking, even though it was my voice.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was the dope. It was me jonesing.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? That was me craving. That was me wanting, obsessing, and compulsing about getting high. That wasn't who I really was. That was just that individual that's addicted to that drug at the time. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. That was the addiction talking. That wasn't
Yeah,
my child. That was
it was the
yeah.
addiction talking. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
And it's
know,
important to understand that.
they need it. And so if they don't know that there's a such thing as a craving or jonesing or obsessing and compulsing for a drug, they think that person is just saying a whole bunch of hurtful things that you like, hey, I'm trying to love on you and be supportive of you.
Yeah.
And you just called me out my name. You know what I'm saying? How
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah. Wow. That's something there. Any more questions, y'all? And what else does it look like? When you having withdrawals or Jones and whatever, what does that look like? Is it different for different drugs or it's kind of
Each drug is different. Heroin or opioids are the most physically addicting drugs. So there's nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, muscle cramps, spasms, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol, pretty much the same things. They just call them the DTs and the muscle spasms. You know what I mean? But the cold sweats, things of that nature, the chills. Each drug
mm,
has its own identifying withdrawal symptom. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? So that's why I say it's important to know what the individual is using, right?
mm,
So you can tell, like, um, let's say an individual has been dabbling around with um, alcohol and hydrocodones, right? Both
that's
the
a appeal.
Yeah, hydrocodone.
Mm,
This is a pain pill, one of the most popular pills around right now, but it has codeine in it, right? And
mm-hmm,
so once an individual takes codeine for so long, to go without it, you start having nausea and muscle spasms. So
mm,
what if this person started like saying, "Ooh, I'm cramping all the time. My legs cramping." You know what I mean? Or they're, "Oh, I'm nauseous right now." You know what I mean? Well,
mm-hmm.
if I hear that, I'll be like, "Hey, man, you you've been dabbling with them pain pills, ain't you?"
Yeah, yeah.
They be like, "Yeah, I started about a month ago. My doctor prescribed me." You know what I'm saying? Because nobody actually thinks a prescription drug that's given to you by a doctor is addicting. Those are the
Wow.
hardest people to convince that they have a problem.
Yeah, because it came from the doctor.
Because it came from the doctor.
Wow.
Alcohol is sold on every stove.
Yeah, you're
I ain't
right.
no, I ain't no alcoholic.
Yeah, you're right. Feelings past, uncomfortable. Yeah, this too shall pass. I appreciate you taking the time to share your story and keeping it real. It's very encouraging. Congrats on the 6 years.
Thank you very much.
So, in the recovery, what's another part of the recovery process that I think people need to know about, or what to expect in this recovery process? Because everybody can't go well when they come out the treatment like you did. Some people coming home back to the hood. You know what I'm saying? They may have to come stay with mama or sister or brother. What's some things that they can do?
It really just depends on, like I said, I'll go back to, like, I went to any lengths to get high, right? You know what I mean? I have to go to any lengths to like stay clean.
Yeah,
And,
that's good.
and what I mean by that is, like, I love mama and them, I love sister and them, but mama and them still drink.
Yeah.
And everybody come over mama and them house on the weekend. So me living at mama house might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
And so I got to be man enough or strong enough or brave enough
Yeah.
to be able to say, hey, mom, I love you to death, but I'm going to have to love you from a distance. I can't come and stay with you.
Mhm.
See, once we get clean and families start coming back around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, all is forgiven and people. And so now I feel like I fit in. Well,
Yeah.
I already got like 1,800 multiple personalities going on. And so I'm just pretending. That ain't where
Yeah.
I need to be. I know
Yeah.
it. But the hardest thing for me to do is when I started, me and my sister, we used to hang out and do dirt together, right? Is what I'll say.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so one day, me and my sister, we were doing some dirt and I just didn't feel comfortable with it, right?
Okay.
And so I went and told my sister, I was like, hey, man, I need to talk to you. Hardest conversation I ever had. I was like,
Wow.
I said, I ain't hurting for no money. I said, I'm working every day and I'm going to school. I was like, I can't do this no more. I ain't
All
cool.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where I thought she was going to be some blowback, she was like, okay, brother, I'm proud of you. That's good. I ain't going to hold that
Yeah.
against you. If you want to do better, then I'm going to support you. You know what I'm saying?
That's
But it all
good.
started with me having the courage to have that conversation. See,
Yeah.
we sometimes we get so caught up in being socially accepted by everybody that we forget that that's not I just removed my safety net. I'm 10 stories up in the air with no
Yeah.
safety net. No,
Yeah.
let me get back over
Come on now.
here.
Tell us about your nonprofit organization. And y'all, it's the website going down at the bottom if y'all want to donate and help him, continue this work he doing out here. Y'all go to that website. But tell us about, the organization and what y'all do.
So, I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to start my own organization, even while I was working in the field, and call it peer-to-peer whole wellness, right? And so, what does that look like? That looks like um, I get to help individuals coming home from a mental health hospital or some type of institution. They're co-occurring, which means they have dual diagnosis. Either they suffer from some mental health diagnosis and substance use disorders. And so we do peer support, we do substance use counseling,
Come on.
provide mental health therapy, psych sessions, things of that
Come
nature.
on now.
And we provide psychosocial rehab, which is basically teaching someone a life skill, right?
Yeah.
After living on the streets for a minute, sometimes you have to teach a person how to take care of their hygiene or how to make up a bed, some of the simple things, some of the things we take for granted. And so my
Yeah.
organization has been blessed enough to be able to provide those said services. And so one of the things I like to do is I like to have the clients go out in the community and give back, right? And see what the actual community looks like. And so my wife and I, we started a feeding program called Feeding the Forgotten.
Come on.
We do it every second Saturday of the month. And so we go down to the homeless community down by the bridge and we pass out hygiene items, things like towels, razors, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorants.
Come
Uh,
on.
because it's been cold, we've been doing socks. And then due to some funding restraints, we provide them with a semi-hot meal, and which is a hot dog and like some water and some protein bars, things of that nature. But here lately, we've been able to provide sleeping bags. We've been able to provide clothing, things of that nature. And so, yeah, that's just us in a nutshell.
That's a blessing right there. And ain't no looking back, no temptation to go back. You going forward now.
No, I get to sit down and I talk to those people down there. I let them know
Yeah.
I'm one of you. I'm you.
Yeah.
I'm just on the other side of the fence.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we have conversations like this one guy, he's like looks for me every Saturday and
Yeah.
he helps us like get the lines in order and he helps us pass out merchandise. And that
Come
makes him
on.
feel a part of.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so
Uh-huh.
hopefully one day that'll be it'll plant that seed well enough to where he'll want to like, okay, let me go and make that transition.
Yeah.
You
So
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Okay. So if somebody like, do they have to live where you live, or come to you, or to get those counseling sessions and stuff like that. Look, they say when you coming to Houston, you got to come on, get out here now, bring it around now.
Look, I know folks in Houston.
Yeah, come on out
So
here.
just email me, message me on my website, email
Hmm.
me. I'm on Facebook, Peer to Peer Whole Wellness.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, same thing. You provided all those links. Just message me and we'll make it happen. I have been blessed with an overly amount of resources. So wherever you are,
Come
I
on.
probably know somebody. And then I'm the type of person, if I don't know, I'll find somebody. Because
Come on now.
I love social media. I'll put it in a group. Like, hey man,
Yeah.
I need family therapy session for an individual in Houston, right here, right now. And we'll make
Wow.
it happen.
That's a beautiful
You gotta be with
thing.
it. You gotta don't
Yeah.
make you do all the work and you don't do nothing.
Yeah. Y'all hear that? Y'all hit him up if y'all looking to, get some counseling and get some of his wisdom. Get some. Is it mentor? Is it like your mentor?
Yeah, it's like a mentor because what happens is with peer support, in order to be a peer support, you have to have lived experience. Basically, you've been where this person's been and gone through what they're going through, and then you just live a more recovery oriented lifestyle, right? But
Hmm.
it's different than going into a psych doctor's office and seeing all these placards on the wall and these degrees and certain
Yeah.
time. You just see me, an average
Yeah.
Joe. You know what I mean? I've done forensic peer support, which means I've been able to go into the jails and talk to individuals, and they come out of jail and be like, "Hey, Jack, I want to be like you." And I'm like, "Okay, this is what I've done. This is the formula. This is how
Come
you
on.
get where it is." You know what I mean? You got to try
Yeah.
some of the simple things, and it's a numbers game, but I've had more people fall off than stay on. But when you get those few that do stay on,
Yeah.
you get the warm fuzzies, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
can imagine.
I done my part. You know what I mean? You get to
Yeah.
see this person grow in their recovery.
Yeah. That's
So
what's up. So y'all hit him up. And y'all have any questions, go on, leave them in. And if not, we just gonna, get on up out of here. But y'all make sure y'all support and donate and help keep this mission going. And I just pray that God just keep on taking you higher and higher and opening more doors and more blessings upon blessings and just let you shine this year like never before.
well, the year's off to a good start. You called me for this interview, and so
Yeah,
I was praying on it, and I was like, okay, God, this is a good sign. I
yeah,
had already claimed 2021 was going to be the year, but you like sent me confirmation. So thank you
come
for the
on.
opportunity, and thank you for having me on your show.
And thank you for coming because it's time. People need what you got. So y'all share this with people need it because in order to change your life, you got to be willing to put in the work. And this is somebody who put in the work and that he out here changing lives. So it's possible. And I wanted y'all to see somebody that overcame even after 20 years of that thing had you like this here. You were trying to shake it, but you got on about that thing. So yeah, it's possible, y'all. No matter how long you've been doing what you do, it's possible and you can overcome. So y'all hit them up.
Thank you so much.
She said you've been a blessing.
Yay.
No, she ain't say nothing. All right, y'all. We finna get on up out of here. But I sure thank you once again.
No problem.
God bless you.
God bless you as well.
All right now. Thanks. Bye, y'all. I'll let y'all later.